The French Revolution was one of the most important and dramatic events in world history. It didn't just change France, it changed the way people all over the world thought about government, power, and equality. But how did it all begin? And what really happened during this chaotic time? In the late 1700s, France was ruled by a king named Louis XVI. Like the kings before him, he believed he had been chosen by God to rule, a belief known as the divine right of kings. At the time, France was a monarchy, and society was divided into three estates, or social classes. The first estate was made up of the clergy, people from the church. The second estate was the nobility, or the wealthy landowners who had special privileges. And finally, the third estate included everyone else, peasants, workers, farmers, and the middle class, also known as the bourgeoisie. The third estate made up about 97% of the population, yet they had very little power or say in government. What made things worse was that France was deep in economic crisis. The country had borrowed huge amounts of money, especially from helping America during the American Revolution. On top of that, there were poor harvests, which caused food prices to skyrocket. Bread, a basic food item for most people, became too expensive for many families. People were hungry, angry, and desperate, while the royal family continued to live in luxury in the Grand Palace of Versailles. To solve the financial crisis, King Louis XVI called together a meeting called the Estates General in 1789. It was the first time this meeting had been held in over 170 years. Each estate was given one vote, but the system was unfair. The first and second estates always voted together, outvoting the third estate. Tired of being ignored, the third estate took a bold step. They broke away and declared themselves the National Assembly, saying they were the true representatives of the people of France. Soon after, the members of the National Assembly met in an indoor tennis court and made a promise known as the Tennis Court Oath. They vowed not to separate until they had created a new constitution for France. This was a powerful moment. It showed that the people were no longer willing to let the king make all the decisions. After this, tension kept rising. On July 14th, 1789, a large crowd in Paris stormed a prison called the Bastille. They were looking for weapons and gunpowder, but more importantly, they were showing their anger toward the king. The fall of the Bastille became a powerful symbol of the revolution. Even today, July 14th is celebrated in France as Bastille Day, their national holiday. In the months that followed, big changes started happening. The National Assembly began to reform the country. They got rid of the special privileges of the nobility and clergy. In August 1789, they introduced a powerful document called the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen. It stated that all men were born free and equal, and that everyone should be treated fairly under the law. Despite these changes, King Louis XVI didn't fully support the revolution. In 1791, he and his family tried to escape France, hoping to get help from other European monarchs. They were caught and brought back to Paris. This made people even angrier. Many now believed the king couldn't be trusted and had to be removed. By 1792, the French monarchy had been completely abolished. France was declared a republic, meaning it would be ruled by elected officials, not a king. In January 1793, King Louis XVI was put on trial for treason, betraying his country. He was found guilty and executed by a guillotine, a machine used for beheadings. With the king gone, power fell into the hands of radical revolutionaries. The most well-known of them was Maximilien Robespierre, who led a group called the Jacobins. They believed in using terror to protect the revolution from enemies. This led to a terrifying period called the Reign of Terror from 1793 to 1794. Thousands of people were accused of being enemies of the revolution and sent to the guillotine, often without a fair trial. Even people who had once supported the revolution were executed if they were seen as a threat. It was a time of fear, suspicion, and violence. Eventually, people grew tired of the chaos. In 1794, Robespierre himself was arrested and executed. The Reign of Terror ended, and a new government called the Directory was created, but it was weak and corrupt at first. France was still unstable, and people were longing for strong leadership. That leader came in the form of a young, ambitious general named Napoleon Bonaparte. In 1799, he overthrew the Directory and took control of France. He would later crown himself Emperor of France and led the country into a new era, one shaped by war, reform, and expansion. So what really happened during the French Revolution? It started as a fight for fairness, freedom, and rights for ordinary people, but it also brought violence, fear, and extreme changes. In the end, it helped shape the modern ideas of democracy, citizenship, and human rights, but it also showed how revolutions can sometimes go too far. The French Revolution wasn't just about France. It inspired movements around the world. Overall, it taught future generations the power and the danger of rising up against injustice.